Question 1. Find the value of the ratio A is to B if 2A square plus AB is equal to 3B square. Then question 2. Solve the equation A square minus 8A plus 12 is equal to 0. Hence, find the four values of x which satisfies the equation. Bracket open, x square minus x bracket close all square minus 8 bracket open x square minus x bracket close plus 12 equal to 0. Now let's start with question 1. In question 1, they have given us, they said 2a square plus ab is equal to 3b square. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add minus 3b squared to both sides so that this will cancel on this. On the left hand side, we're left with a square plus ab minus 3b square equal to 0. Now, for us to solve this, we're going to use factorization method. So what I'm going to do is that I'll multiply the first term and the last term together. So the product is minus 6a square b square. If I multiply the first term and the last term. Now, I will now find the factors of minus 6a square b square, that when I sum them up, I will have plus ab. So now let's start with 1. That is, let's start with ab and minus 6ab. When you sum this, you give just minus 5ab. Now let's check the one of 2. You have 2ab and minus 3ab. This, if you sum them up, it will give us minus ab. Now let's reverse this. If you reverse it, if you have 2 minus 2ab and plus 3ab, this will give us, if you sum them up, to give us plus ab. So, and the middle term is plus ab. So we are going to replace these two terms, the sum of these two terms, with this. So that means we now have our equation now will be transformed to a square and 2a square minus 2ab plus 3ab minus 3b square equal to 0. Now when you look at these two terms, what is common to both of them? You look for a common factor between these two terms. The common factor there I can see is 2a. Now if you use 2a to divide this 2a square, you have a. If you use 2a to divide minus 2ab, you have minus b. Now what is a common term here between this and this? The common term I can see is plus 3b. So plus 3b, if you use plus 3b to divide plus 3ab, you have a. If you use plus 3b to divide minus 3b square, you have minus b. This will be equal to 0. Now between these two terms, we have a common factor. The common factor is a minus b. Now if we use a minus b to divide this first term, we'll be left with 2a. If we use it to divide this 3b into a minus b, if we divide it, you have plus 3b equal to 0. Now what we'll get now, you have a minus b equal to 0, or 2a plus 3b equal to 0. Now for this one, if you add plus b to both sides, you have a equal to b. Now divide both sides with b, you have a all over b equal to 1, because b cancels b is 1. So now what will happen is the ratio of a is to b is 1 in this part. Now you have this, if you add minus 3b to both sides, this will cancel out this. You have 2a equal to minus 3b. Now what we're going to do is we want a situation where we want AB to be on this side, and the term without the variable to be on the right hand side. So if we want to do that, what we are going to use to divide both sides, we are going to use this term, because we don't want any number to be on this side. We'll use this term. We'll use the product of this term and this term. So the product of 2 and b will be 2b. So we'll divide both sides with 2b, here with 2b. So if we divide here with 2b, these two will cancel out this. You are left with a all over b. Now here, if you divide minus 3b with 2b, you have this one will cancel out this. You are left with minus 3 over 2. So the ratio of this of a and b, a is to b, is minus 3 over 2. So that solves equation 1. Now equation 2. Now if you look at this equation, you see that there is similarity between this and this. What they just did was that to solve this, let's say you have x squared minus x all squared minus 8 into x squared minus x bracket close plus 12 equal to 0. Now assuming a is equal to x squared minus x. Now if you substitute x squared minus x as a into this equation, so anywhere you see x squared minus x, you put a. So if we do that into this equation, you have a squared minus 8a plus 12 equal to 0. So if we look at this equation, is the same with this. So what we're going to do now, we multiply this first term with this last term. So we'll be left with what we're going, the product will be plus 12a squared. So what are the factors of plus 12a squared? That when you sum them up, it will give you minus 8a. So let's start with a. So let's start with minus a and minus 12a. This one will give you minus 13a. Let's go to 2. You have minus 2 a and minus 6a. This will give us minus 8a. So this solves the problem. So these two factors is the factor of plus 12a squared, that when you sum them it will give you minus 8a. So we're going to use this minus 2a and minus 6a to replace this minus 8a. So let's do that. So a squared minus 2a minus 6a plus 12 is equal to 0. Now if you factor this, for these two terms, what is the common factor that can divide both? So is a. So a divide, if you use a to divide a square, you have a. If you divide minus 2a with a, you have minus 2. Now what is the common term between minus 6a and plus 12? So the common term I can see here now is minus 6. So using minus 6, if you divide minus 6a with minus 6, you have a. If you divide plus 12 by minus 6, you have minus 2, all equal to 0. Now if you look at this now, you have this as a common factor to these two terms. So we'll now factorize it further. You say a minus 2, which is a common factor. So if you use a minus 2 to divide this first term, you're left with a. If you use this to divide this second term, you're left with minus 6 equal to 0. So finally we have a minus 2 equal to 0, or a minus 6 is equal to 0. So if you add plus 2 to both sides, this will cancel out this. You have a equal to 2. Or for this one, if you add plus 6 to both sides, this will cancel out this. You have a equal to 6. Now for this is a is equal to 2. For here a is equal to 6. So let's solve this. For a equal to 2, already we have assumed a to be equal to x squared minus x. So since it's 2, so since we have assumed this x squared minus x is equal to a, so that means x squared minus x is equal to 2, or x squared minus x is equal to 6. So to solve this, if you add minus 2 to both sides, this one will cancel out this. Here we are left with x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. For this one, you have, if you add minus 6 to both sides, you're left with x squared minus x minus 6 equal to, this will cancel this will be 0. So now let's come down here. You have x squared minus x minus 2 equal to 0. So the factor of you will multiply this and this. So multiplying x squared with minus 2, the product is minus 2x squared. So what are the factors of minus 2x squared, that when you sum them all it will give you minus x? So the two factors here, let's use x and minus 2x. So if you sum this, it will give you minus x. So that means this solves the riddle. Now what we're going to do is say x squared, we use these two factors to replace minus x. So we'll now say plus x minus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now what are the common factor that can divide these two terms? So the common factor there is x. If you use x to divide x squared, you have x. If you use x to divide this plus x, you have plus 1. Now what is the common factor here? The common factor I can see there is minus 2. If you use minus 2 to divide minus 2x, you have x. If you use minus 2 to divide this minus 2, you have plus 1. So this expression is common to both sides. So now we factor it out. So we say, so this plus 1 will not be a factor since it's common to both sides. So it's a common factor. So if we use this x plus 1 to divide this first term, you have x. If you use it to divide this second term, you have minus 2 equal to 0. So that means x is equal to minus 1 or 2. Now let's get to this place, or I can, let me just complete it. Let me just not be in a hurry. Let me explain how it comes to that. You have x plus 1 equal to 0, or x minus 2 equal to 0. So for this one, if you add minus 1 to both sides, this will cancel this. You have x equal to minus 1. Or if you add plus 2 to both sides, this will add up to, this will cancel out. You have x equal to 2. So x is equal to minus 1 or 2. Now let's go to this over to this one. What we're going to do, we multiply the first term and the last term. So if you multiply these two, you have minus 6x squared. Now what are the two factors, the two factors of minus 6x squared, that when you sum them up it will give you minus x? Now let's start with x and minus 6x. So this one will give you minus 5x. Now let's use 2. You have 2x and minus 3x. So if you sum this up, you give you minus x. So this solves the riddle. Now let's use plus 2x and minus 3x to replace this, the sum of it to replace minus x. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 6 equal to 0. So when you look at it, plus 2x minus 3x is equal to minus x. So that means this can replace this as minus x. So what is the common factor between this and this? What I can see there is x. X is a common factor. So if you use x to divide x squared, you have x. If you use x to divide plus 2x, you have plus 2. What are the common factors here now? The common factor between these two terms, the common factor I can see there is minus 3. So if you use minus 3 to divide minus 3x, you have x. If you use minus 3 to divide minus 6, you have plus 2 equal to 0. So the x plus 2, this expression x plus 2 is common to both terms, these two terms. So what I'm going to do now is I will use it to factor it. So you have x plus 2. Now if you use x plus 2 to divide this first term, you will have x. If you use this x plus 2 to divide this second term, you have minus 3. this will be equal to 0. So that means x plus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So that means if you add minus 2 to both sides for this one, this will cancel out this. You have x minus 2. If you add plus 3 to both sides, this one will cancel out this. You're left with x equal to 3. So for this one, you have x equal to minus 2 or 3. So the four values of x will now be x is equal to minus 2, minus 1, 2, and 3. So these are the values of x in this equation. Thank you for watching till the end.